Welcome to Biz Alchemy, a podcast about creating a new business paradigm by women, for women. I'm your alchemical host, Jacquelyn, and I'm going to take you on an extraordinary adventure to create a business filled with ease, fun, spaciousness, and abundance. Hustle, be gone. Let's birth a new way. It's so lovely to have you back. Today, I'm going to chat about boundaries and energy leaks. So I'm looking at boundaries from an energetic perspective. I mean, really, that's what they are. It's energy. Boundaries are a containment of energy. That's it. And it's so interesting, isn't it? Because we think of boundary, it feels quite finite. It feels like a line. And it's an energetic containment. And so it is going to move, as energy moves. But it's a bit like if you think of your aura that surrounds you and it holds your energy in. It contains your energy so you're not leaking out. Well, that's exactly what a boundary is. And for many of us female entrepreneurs, we may not realize that our boundaries are a little lax until we set up our business, until we're showing up in our business. And we probably hear the term boundaries used a lot more, and we start to realize where we have some slack boundaries in our business. And as this awareness grows in us, we then translate that across to our lives outside of business and realize there where our boundaries have also been lax, where we're leaking energy. So I decided to share this topic with you this week because it's come up a few times for me in the past week. And this is how I decide my podcast topics, because there's a pattern. It shows up a couple of times over the week before. And I think, ooh, the universe is getting my attention there with this one. It must be time to talk about it. And for me, over the last week, it's been boundaries. Now, this has actually been a great insight that I've had about this pattern because it's the way I've tended to work, especially with my podcast and my blogging, is I write or speak about what's been obvious in my life over the last week, the signs that have come in. And I'm currently doing a course with Danielle Gardner it's called the Sacral Solopreneur, and it's for generators and manifesting generators. And I'm finding it so helpful in this way. So if you're not familiar with human design, I'm sorry, this might be interesting for you anyway, but I'm a generator. So a part of that is that I respond. So in my marketing and what I put out there, I'm responding to what's been coming into me rather than initiating. And I've been doing this with the podcast because I get these little messages from the universe and go, from the universe through others, and think, I'm going to talk on that this week. So it's been awesome to do this course with Danny and realize that actually this is me really honoring my generator energies. And by her bringing this into my awareness more, I'm going to use it much more in my offers, which I haven't done so much before. But anyway, that was just a little aside. But now back to boundaries. So boundaries have come to me over the past week through a couple of clients mentioning it, but also through realizing where I'd had some slack boundaries. So I've been on both sides of it, if you like. So let's get into it. I'm going to talk about 3 things in particular today to do with boundaries. So one is the boundaries between you and others, or in this case, it's your clients. So the boundaries between you and your clients. And a second thing that you may not think about, you may not have considered, the boundaries between you and your business. And then the third thing, which just came to me this morning prior to recording, is the boundaries between you and the patriarchal rules. I was going to call it the boundaries between you and yourself because that's what it felt like. But then I realized that the patriarchal rules, or the shoulds, the stories of the mind, the beliefs and rules that you have in your energy body, it's almost like putting boundaries between yourself, your essence, and those rules. So that's the third thing I'll talk about. But before I get into that, I just wanted to talk about the energy body. And boundaries are very strongly associated with the solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus chakra has a yin and a yang component. The yin component of the solar plexus chakra is the self-love, self-worth, self-trust, self-belief. The yang aspect of the solar plexus chakra is the warrior energy, the taking action, the being in your power. And when these two aspects are in harmony, that's when the solar plexus energy really shines. And the thing is, boundaries are an act of self-love. They're an honoring of yourself. They're an honoring of your energy. Boundaries keep your energy strong and intact so that you have more to give. Which means the yang aspect of the solar plexus, the action, the coming from a place of being in your power, that warrior energy is more powerful, it's more aligned because it's actually more contained, because your energy is more contained. Now, there is another chakra strongly related to boundaries, and that's the throat chakra, which is very connected with the solar plexus chakra, because the throat chakra is how those boundaries are communicated. And if there's stories and beliefs in your throat chakra that are holding back your expression, making you remain the good girl, if you like, I can't speak that. Who am I to say no to this person? I have to be agreeable. I have to put others first. All those stories that make you swallow your truth. I told them I'd go along to that, so I've got to go along to that. Swallow your truth. Swallow the self-love. Swallow the boundary energy leak. So the throat chakra is very powerful in the expression of boundaries. And we are overcoming our conditioning to express those boundaries. So throat chakra, solar plexus, very, very powerful. The base chakra also has a role to play because the base chakra is about you feeling supported and secure and stable to honor your boundaries and express them. But on the whole, I find when I'm looking at energy bodies, female entrepreneurs in particular, it's the solar plexus and the throat chakras where I see old stories, old beliefs, old memories that stop boundaries being enforced and expressed. So let's look at my first point, the boundaries between you and your clients. One of the biggest boundaries here, one of the most important boundaries, is actually accepting clients who are aligned with you and your business. Because if you say yes to a client who is not aligned with your business, who is not vibrating at the energy of your business, then you are immediately leaking energy to that person. You are not honoring the boundary of either you or your business in that case. And this can be a very challenging one because, for one thing, we may not always know when we accept a client that they are not aligned with the vibration of our business. Although I think as we get more skilled in working with clients who make our hearts sing, we do know from the beginning. Even if we say we don't, we actually do. So deep down inside. So be aware that you will learn to become more discerning in this way. You will know from the beginning that that person is going to take some energy from you and therefore compromise your boundaries. So making that decision from the beginning stops you compromising your boundaries, stops you leaking energy, and it also stops you from taking that person's energy into your business, which alters the vibration of your business, alters the frequency of your business. So that's one thing to start with. Another very simple boundary to put in place between you and your clients is Another very simple boundary to put in place between you and your clients is the boundary around time and valuing your time. So that if a client is more than 10 minutes late for a session, that you either reschedule the session or they just get the time that is left rather than, making sure you do not go over, unless it feels very aligned for you and you have the space and it feels right for you to do that. But it's very important that it does feel aligned. So putting in terms and conditions can help this, because then it's clear that if a client is too late for a session or they miss a session or they cancel with very short notice, these are the consequences. Now, I just want to talk about this a little bit more, because by having those terms and conditions in place, those boundaries in place, it means you don't have to think about it. It's just an energy you're not carrying around because it's clear. The boundary is there. You're not leaking any energy. However, it doesn't mean that you remain inflexible on that. So someone might be late and you think, look, it's fine. We won't be able to do the session, in the amount of time we have left. We would be compromising what I can deliver and what you'll receive. So let's reschedule. That's okay. Just because your terms and conditions say bad luck, you miss out, doesn't mean that you can't shift and change with that. But by having those terms and conditions in place in the beginning, at least you do not have to think about that. It's a support for you. It's a support for your energy. And then what you choose to do around that comes from an empowered place. It comes from an aligned place. So it's like saying there are no refunds on this program. But when someone comes to you and says, actually, I signed up, but it doesn't feel quite right for me now. From my perspective, I'm honoring that they're honoring their energy, that they're honoring what feels right for them. And I'm honoring that means their energy isn't meant to be in that program. And in actual fact, I'm much better off giving them their money back and releasing them with clear energy. So putting terms and conditions in place, fabulous for boundaries, but also understand that there is a flexibility and a flow within that, because that's what energy is. Another way that you can put boundaries in place with you and your clients is around discounting sessions, where in this case, you are honoring your energy. You are honoring your worth, your self-worth. You are honoring your time. You are honoring the energy that goes into giving that session, holding the space for your client. Now, there are times when discounting may feel awesome. It flows through you, it's inspired, and you just know that energetically is aligned for you. It doesn't feel like you're leaking energy by doing it. But there are other times when you're wanting some money to come in. And so you give a discount or you offer a discount, and it's actually feeling a little icky when people buy. Or what you might find, this is what happens to me very often when I've come from that place of, some cash flow would be good. I'm going to put out a special offer here. No one takes it up because the energy behind it is not strong. It's not coming from a place of power. It's coming almost from a neediness and a reaching out. I'm leaking my energy. And so those reading that offer feel that I'm not coming from an empowered place, that my boundary has leaked, and don't respond. They don't vibrate with that. So be very aware of your energy when you do offer discounts and special offers. Is it coming from an empowered place? Is your energy contained? Or have your boundaries weakened and you're leaking energy with that offer? And similarly, if you are doing swaps with someone, make sure that your boundary feels strong in that exchange. Because if you reach a point where you've promised to do this swap and it doesn't feel right for you, you're leaking energy. Your boundaries are lax, and it's actually taking more from you to exchange that session than if you didn't do it at all, or if you paid for it. So these are just a few examples of boundaries between you and your clients. So now let's move on to boundaries between you and your business. This is a challenging one for many of us because we see ourselves as our business. So the first understanding is that your business is separate from you. It's a separate entity with its own chakras, with its own aura, and therefore with its own boundaries. Because if its boundaries aren't in place, there are energy leaks coming from your business. So one way to really honor that separation and keep those boundaries strong is to have clear business hours. Your business only has to show up. It's only got to be present between this time and this time. And outside of that time, you don't answer emails, you don't answer messages. You keep your business closed as such. It doesn't mean that you may not have inspiration and occasionally do something as you feel inspired, but keep that boundary strong between you and your business. And then a way that you can really honor your business and then a way that you can really honor your business and go, okay, my business is open now, is to do a beautiful morning ritual as you're opening. It could be very simple. You might light a candle, call in your business entity, welcome it, have a quick staff meeting with your business, which is something I'll talk about very often in terms of meeting your business in a visualization and just saying, what's the focus for today and seeing what your business has to say. So you might have some little ritual like that says, okay, we are open now. Energetically, we are open now. And it means your biz boundaries are open to giving. They've been contained overnight or for however long it's been closed, and now they're open. Now, this is an important part of the yin and yang aspect of the business, which I talked about more in episode 7, harmonizing the yin and yang of your business. Your business needs to have yang time as well as yin time. And often we forget it needs yin time. So not doing that business-related stuff certain hours of the day and then opening your business, and you might also have a ceremony or a little ritual to close your business, helps contain your business's energy. It puts in place the boundaries around your business. Also, I was talking about boundaries between you and your clients, but another way to help strengthen your business boundaries and the boundaries between you and your business is to see those clients as being clients of your business and not your clients. And by separating in this way, it can be very helpful when you have challenging clients or a challenging client or a challenging situation, really, because rather than really take it on yourself, feel yourself leak energy to that person or that situation, you see it connected to your business. So it's like you see it in the third person. And actually that helps keep your boundaries strong, but it actually helps strengthen your business's boundaries. Because then you could actually tune in with your business, say in your little opening ritual in the morning, and say to your business, okay, what should we do about so-and-so? And see what comes to you from your business. It's like your business is in its power. It can then guide you as to how it can maintain its boundaries around that person or that situation. You are separate from it. So this is actually very empowering for your business as well as empowering for you because you are no longer leaking energy to that person or that situation. The thing is, your business needs you to honor its boundaries, because otherwise it becomes exhausted. And I've seen that with clients where their business comes in to the session and it's looking exhausted. It looks like someone who's just run a marathon. And that's why. It's because its boundaries haven't been honored. It hasn't been allowed to have some yin time, some time out. After you've done a great big promotional period, you're not the only one who might need the yin time. Your business needs it. And so if you're beating yourself up going, I really should be getting out there and doing this, you're not even considering your business. It needs a rest too. It needs yin time as well. It is an entity with an energy body, and its boundaries are honored by yin time. Now, finally, I want to have a look at boundaries between you and yourself, or boundaries between you and the patriarchal business model rules that you have taken on as beliefs and stories, and that you now use those beliefs and stories as drivers for the decisions you make. And so when I say a boundary between you and those stories, it is simply being able to see those stories. Look at those shoulds and feel how if you take on those shoulds and they're there all the time on your shoulders, oh, I should be doing this way. Oh, I should be showing up and doing more lives to promote this thing. Feel how that leaks energy and you end up exhausted. I have an interesting example of this recently. For about 6 months, since I've really started talking more publicly about the new business paradigm, I've had this awareness that I should change an opt-in that I have on my website. My current opt-in that I've used for close to 12 months is the Clear Your Chakras Challenge. And it's been very helpful for me. There's been a lot of people have used that opt-in. But when I started to shift my focus away from not talking so much about chakras, but talking about the new business paradigm, so much of which is related to the energy body, but I just switched my focus. I decided, I should do a new opt-in, and maybe it could just be about 5 ways to implement the new business paradigm in your business or something like that. Anyway, it's been on my to-do list, and I keep it each week. I just keep carrying it over. It is such a weight on my shoulders. It stopped me moving forward with rewriting my website because I should create this new opt-in. And last week when I was doing Danny's course that I was talking about earlier, the Sacral Solopreneur, she just said one thing about not having an opt-in. And oh my God, the relief that flooded through my body at the thought of, I don't have to create an opt-in. It was a should that I was carrying around. You should create an opt-in to get more people on your list. Now, I don't believe in that completely because I only want people on my list who are aligned with me and my business, and providing a suitable opt-in is a way of filtering that. But the truth in my heart is, I don't want to acquire more people on my list through them doing a particular opt-in. I want people to want to be on my list, to want to hear from me, who value myself and my message and my business enough to welcome me into their inbox every couple of weeks, not because they signed up for something that may or may not have helped them. So this was such a relief for me because I realized how much energy I was leaking because of this should. I should have an opt-in. And I've carried that around for months about creating this new opt-in. Now, I'm not saying to you don't have an opt-in. It could be very aligned with you and your business. But it was one of those shoulds that I have not had a strong boundary between myself and that should, and it has leaked energy out of me and out of my business. So where are you leaking energy? Where are your boundaries slack? Think of it this way. Where am I leaking energy? That's probably much easier than to say, where are my boundaries not so good? You might know that, but look at it this way. Where am I leaking energy? Because that is an indication that is where a stronger boundary needs to be in place to contain your energy, to fill your cup, or to at least stop your cup leaking. So what will you put in place? Ponder that today. Have a look over the next week and see where you're leaking energy and what boundary you could put in place, what decision you could make, what changes you could make in your life or in your business to hold that energy, to be a stronger container for that energy. Until next time, I hope you have an alchemical week in your business. Thanks for listening to Biz Alchemy. I'm Jacquelyn Atkins. If you enjoyed this show, I'd love it if you subscribed, shared with your friends, and left a review. And if you'd like to continue the conversation, head to jacquelynatkins.com. Until next time, enjoy creating alchemy in your biz.